Okay, welcome back to today's project, sort of. Today I'm gonna decide or show you the criteria I use to decide. The gate just closed. Decide my next lift, and there's a lot of things I learned from going off-roading, taking the current lift, the rough country, along with my brother, which has his full long travel custom 16-inch Kings suspension, and also with Jamie and his 3.5 inch lift. So there's a bunch of things I learned throughout this whole thing, and I'll share those thoughts with you guys. The thing to remember that is, okay, so there's one universal thing throughout the world, why we do what we do. Why do we even lift the trucks? Why do we lower the trucks? Why do we modify our cars? Why do we do anything? Whether you're a male, female, it doesn't matter. There is one universal answer to that worldwide. Why do we do what we do? Simple. It's very one single thing. Because we can. Right? Simple. Because we can. We do things to our own style, our own preferences, our own likes, our own wants, our own needs. Now, based on my needs, and I guess the rest of what I do as far as using the truck, common sense would tell me not to lift it. Now, I also said that I would not touch this truck from the first day I got it. So much for that, right? The wheeling that I do, the places that I go, yes, a stock Tacoma can get there, a stock 4x4, a stock 4x4 Nissan, a Ford Ranger, a Chevy, Colorado. You do not need to lift the vehicles for the type of things that I do. Why do we do it? Simple, remember? Because we can. Now I'll show you some of the things that I've learned and what I've seen. Now I showed you guys from the beginning, from a previous video, what happens to your suspension when you do these 3-inch lifts. I did save up a ton of money, so I could very well go with a long travel suspension in the front. Common sense says yes, spend the money one time, get it over with. You don't have to slowly upgrade here, upgrade there. And again, we do these things because we want self-gratification. We like feeling good, and that's kind of the other part of why we do the things that we do to our vehicles. So back to the 3-inch lift. Putting a spacer on the top would be a little more logical than putting a preload on the spring, compressing it, stopping the vehicle from coming down. That's the most horrible thing you can do to your ride by doing that. I'd rather put a spacer on the top, and at least you can get some function. Now, ideally, again, if you do that route, for myself, I would probably go with a lower control arm. Once you space it down, you are decreasing the angle of your lower control arm. You're maxing that angle out. You're maxing out the angle of your axles. You're maxing the angle out on your upper control arms, right? Okay, so now that we understand that part, meantime, I'll show you what I did to my Tacoma. Now, I do, let me find a ruler. I do have a 6-inch rough country lift, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys can see me. It's kind of dark in the garage. Rough Country claims to have a 4-inch suspension lift that you cut the cross member. Rough Country claims to have a 6-inch lift. I beg to differ. And the reason, I'll show you. When I had the 6-inch Rough Country on here, I still do, I could not clear 33s. It says you can. The 33s were smacking the heck out of the fenders, front and rear. So like everyone else, I ended up doing a cab mount chop. I ended up putting a 1.5 inch spacer on the top to bump it up to its current height. And that's how I could clear my 33s. The downside is that my lower control arms are down, my axles are down, my upper control arms are down. You know, kind of like the, I guess you guys would call it, was that mall crawlers, these guys that don't take it off road and they just want the high lifted look. Nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. Here. So my truck, I don't know if you can see, I don't like this angle. I really hate it. Again, the front control arms are down. My axles are down. My tie rod ends are down. I'm losing so much with that. And again, I'll show you. Rough Country claims to be 6 inches. They use the same kit for their 4-inch and their 6-inch. The only difference is the 4-inch, they will give you a spacer, I think like a 2-inch spacer or something, to max out the control arms, giving you the lift. Same thing with the 6-inch. They give you a bigger spacer on top, or you go with their coilovers. By the way, their Vertex is really good stuff. I am keeping the Vertex front and rear, along with the 600-pound springs on here. I'm going to use those for the next lift. Let me show you a little more in detail what I mean by 6 inches. Yeah. So normally you would have to drop your front cross member 6 inches from its current stock location, and that brings your control arms, your CV, boots, axles, and your tie rods back to its somewhat factory location, giving it the correct articulation upwards and downwards. Okay, let's take a look. There. Let's see how close we can get. Okay, so stock was here, right? This angle was your stock lower control arms. They claim 6 inches, and look, center to center bolt. What do you get? 3.5. Exactly right there, 3.5 inches. That's it. So, how can you get 6 inches from a lift that's only 3.5? I don't know. I haven't learned that part. Now, ProComp, Zone, BDS, they are a little higher. I think they're at about 4.5 inches. There's a big difference in those lifts too. I'll jump on the computer and I'll show you guys the criteria that I used as far as construction, warranty. I think BDS and probably ProComp are made in the US, I think, and their warranties differ. I think BDS offers a no hassle warranty, meaning if you break it, they'll swap it out for you. ProComp, you can only get, from what it said on their website, and I'm quoting this from them, the warranty is only honored through an approved installer. So how much they're willing to vary from that, I don't know. There's FabTech, there's a whole bunch out there. So I'll try to give you an example on my truck. My 99 4Runner is lifted 3 inches, and I have the Bilstein 5100s along with the Old Man Emu springs in there, and the SBC upper control arms, and I think there's a 1-inch spacer on there too. But let's see how far we can get in here. Anyway, as you can see, at least it's somewhat straight, right? But the here we go. My lower control arms are somewhat bent down. My upper control arms are somewhat straight, and so I guess it works out on that one. The ride is relatively smooth. That truck only goes to the beach, running on the sand, and other small little trails, so nothing too major. So that's the 3.5-inch lift, typically on what you see on guys running with those. And then All right, here's another good example of Jamie's truck of a 3-inch lift. My neighbor's one is a little bit taller. Jamie's one seems to be pretty good. Just with a, was almost like a 2-inch spacer, I think, but this setup is a little better. You can see the control arm is little, I guess, it's a whole lot better. It's not as bad as some of those other ones I've seen. Running 285 70 17s. All right, so let's go check out the computer now. And then on the other spectrum, you have the 6-inch lifts, like mine. Somewhat capable, but not really. It did survive going to small little kind of point. And then you have the real show trucks, the ones that have 10 inches of lift and more. Sorry, my throat is getting really sore. No, it's not COVID or monkeypox. But anyway, we all build our trucks for different reasons. You know, some of us will never see dirt or rocks or sand. Some of us do all the time. You know, it's each to their own. Yeah. So I try to respect that no matter who I see on the road or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so now it's time to get on the computer and show you guys some differences that I saw with different companies and what's ultimately gonna lead me to my decision for the next system that I'm gonna put on my Tacoma. So let's go inside and check out the computer. Okay, sorry, one quick little thing before I get started, a little disclaimer. The thoughts and views that I'm gonna talk about are my own, and you know that's all that really matters. It's what I think. Take it as a grain of salt or whatever. These are just the criteria that I use, and again, it's just my own personal perspective. You know, everyone's gonna have their own thoughts, their own views on things. So just do whatever you guys want to do. Stay true to yourselves. That's the main thing. Try not to let other people influence you. Even if you're building a mall crawler, who cares? Do it for yourself, not for other people. So with that being said, I'll show you the decisions that I use to choose my lift. All right, let's check it out. Okay, here we go, guys. So based on my specific needs, I do not need a full long travel suspension. Yes, it would be nice to have, but apparently I don't need it for what I'm going to be doing, which is mostly running on the beach and light off-roading. A 3-inch suspension would be a little more ideal with adjustable upper control arms, total chaos probably, and even lower control arms. Or I could also go with the 6-inch lift. I mean, for me, I'm just going to go with a 6-inch lift. But like I stated earlier, the rough country lift that's in my truck, I'm going to be taking that out. And I'll go over some of these little things that I found that was pretty interesting. Now, let's see if we can find a better one. Okay, so in this picture, this is a BDS kit. Now, you can see that it's full box. The lower cross member, the front cross member, the rear cross member, they're all fully boxed. Pretty typical is the style of the steering knuckle. Up here is where your sway bar would mount, right up there. Now, on the rough country, like I stated earlier, this top hole is where your stock control arms would mount. The lower hole is where it is going to be, is the new mounting spot. Okay? On rough country, that distance between here and here is only, 3.5 inches? Everyone else, with the exception of one I'll go over, everyone else is 4.5 inches. And the way rough country does their lift is that they give you these guys don't have it here, but a giant spacer in the front to make it either 4 inches or a giant spacer in the front to make it 6 inches. Now let's take a look at some of these other ones. These are just some of the brands I found. So Zone, here's that spacer I was telling you about for the 6-inch. Now what we are looking at are all 6-inch lift kits. Front cross member, rear cross member, skid plate. This is your spacer that goes on the shock. This is the drop down bracket for the bump stop, steering knuckle, rear block for the rear, front sway bar, relocation bracket. These are the alignment cams. These guys have spacers for the front differential and drop down, and that there is the steering stops. Not a bad kit, pretty damn good. Their warranty is also excellent. I called people at Zone, and they are very, very knowledgeable of their products. Okay, now let's take a look at BDS. BDS, and like I said, BDS makes Zone. The good thing about BDS is like I said, their system is full 1/4 inch thick, fully boxed. Front and rear cross members are fully boxed. Comes with a skid plate. Here's what I found really, really good. This is the passenger side drop down bracket. See how there's two brackets here, reinforced. I don't know if it's gusseted, but theirs is one of the strongest I've ever seen on all of them throughout all the companies. This is the driver's side drop down bracket for the front differential, so you are lowering the whole differential, which is really good. Again, here we have the bump stop for the lower control arm, sway bar relocation, steering knuckles. Up here we have the drop blocks. In all, this is a really solid kit. Now let's take a look at, yeah, this is a good example. Pro Comp. So Pro Comp, you see it's like a U, the front and the rear and the front cross member brackets. Now, in my theory, in my thinking, it's not that stable. So when your control arm is moving back and forth or even whacking off-road, hitting bumps and stuff, it'll have more flex. It'll give more flex, and I don't really want a lot of flex in mine. It looks like the front does have 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 little gussets, but it's an open beam design. I don't really like that for my particular liking. The rear comes with a new add a leaf. This is the passenger side, I believe. You see how this only has one bracket that's welded, and the driver's side only has one also. What is this? This must be the drop down bracket for the lower control arm, and again the spacers for your shocks. Yeah, that gives you your 6-inch lift. And then this is the rough country one. Now is this the front or rear? I think this is the front, is fully boxed, but the rear is not boxed. So of course when you hit bumps and different obstacles, it will flex. That's the passenger side drop down bracket, driver side drop down bracket. This mounts to the frame. This is the steering stop for the upper control arm. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, the drop down. I mean, this is the bracket for your shocks, sway bar relocation kit, and various brake line relocation brackets. Cams for the tabs for your lower control arm, and these are again more brackets for the rear brake lines, and it comes with their shocks. Okay, let's take a look at this other one. Oh, okay, so this looks like a ready lift. Not bad. The front looks like it's fully boxed. The rear section, like I said, is open beam. Looks like there's holes drilled out also. For me, I don't want that much flex in mine. It might not flex. Who knows? I'm not an expert, so this is just going by my own thoughts and what I see. Again, just a single little bracket for the drop down bracket for the differential drop down, and I think this is the driver's side. This might be the passenger side. Again, these are your tabs for the front and rear bolts for the lower control arm. And again, drop blocks. They come with a skid plate. Their steering knuckle is a little different design, and from what I can see, the sway bar is mounted way up top. I really don't know what that's gonna do. Some of them have a big drop-down bracket for the sway bar. Let's see if we can find somebody else's one. Okay, right here. See this? This is the drop-down bracket. I think it drops it down about 3 to 4 inches or so. And then this is extreme terrain. Oh, this is the RBP. I think RBP uses the Zone lift kits and just rebrands their name on it because they look exactly the same. This is the RBP, and you can see how high the sway bar gets relocated. Drop down brackets for the lower control arms. Let's take a look at the Zone. Yeah, so this is the Zone kit. Like I said, it just looks so familiar between RBP and Zone. And the last kit we're looking at, let's see if I can find it. Extreme Terrain is pretty good as far as their prices from what I see, and it says free shipping, but I have no idea if it's really free or not. I'm still on the fence, like I said, but I haven't really made any definitive choices. And here's the last one that I'm looking at. Let's see if we can expand this picture. Okay, this is a FabTech. FabTech has been in business for a very long time. A lot of my friends are running this type of kit. I will say that the front and rear cross members are totally boxed. This thing is crazy solid. These are your drop down brackets for the front differential. They even have your front differential has the actuator. This skid plate protects it. I don't know if the rest of them have a skid plate for the four-wheel drive actuator, but these guys do. I've seen on my friends' trucks that the whole thing is fully encased. So other kits, if you want to change gears, you can just drop the front differential out. Not the case with FabTech. Their system is fully encases the front differential, and this thing is crazy solid. If you're to weigh it, I guarantee that FabTech is the heaviest of all of them. I don't know if that's because they use more metal. It is made in the US. It is 1/4 inch thick, but it's totally boxed. This here is the drop down bracket for the lower control arm. Now this will be bolted onto the front and rear, and it kind of boxes everything. It completes a box. These are your drop down brackets for the front sway bar. Their steering knuckle is a totally different design. And you can see this thing is huge. It's super thick, and comes with new U-bolts. This system is their Dirt Logic one, so that's more their fully. This thing is crazy expensive, almost $5,000, I think it was. So yeah, these are the criterias. Well, these are the things I've seen on all these different kind of lifts. I still need to make a decision. I am gonna go to I could order it from Extreme Terrain and save maybe $200, $200 on average on each one of these kits. I do believe in supporting our local businesses, so I will spend the extra money and support Daryl. Daryl is the owner of D's Automotive, formerly known as DH Built. So Daryl and I have been friends for about 15 to 20 years now, so I'm going to go through him. I don't care if it costs more. I just want to support a friend, help him out, keep his business going, especially in these crazy times that we are having now. The next video that I'm going to show you guys, I will be driving to Daryl's shop, placing the order for one of these kits, but I'm not going to tell you guys which one. You have to wait and see it on the next video. So in a couple weeks, this thing will be delivered to Daryl's shop, and then I'll pick it up. So yeah, let's check it out then, and I'll go through the whole process of taking out the rough country lift. I don't really know what I'm going to do with that thing. I may sell it. Who knows? I really don't know what I'm going to do with that just yet. So until then, guys, this is the thoughts that were going through my mind as I was trying to decide what kind of lift to get, what kind of new lift to get. I am taking the rough country out, like I said, because I had to max out. I had to put a spacer on the top. Let me see if I can find it better. So on the shock, I had to put a 2-inch spacer just to clear 33s, and my lower control arms were maxed out. My front axles were maxed out. It was a nightmare. When I did take that thing off-roading, it was okay. Like I said, it survived, but yeah, it was not what I want to do. I heard all kind of things going on underneath the suspension, and I just didn't want to deal with it again. So that's why I'm changing it out. Yeah, so until then, guys, the next video is going to be me driving to Daryl's shop, placing the order with him, and then we'll have to wait and see what comes up next. We got a ton more stuff, like I said, to do, a ton more videos of all kind of installations. I still have to do the cat shield that I got from Maka, so, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I am on my way to see Daryl to order the suspension, the new suspension. I forgot to mention this to you guys. I figured it was worth mentioning now. I totally forgot earlier. Sorry, but as you can tell, I'm driving, so the mounting system that I'm using now is not that great. It's bouncing around. Anyway, so something very important I figured worth mentioning was that how do we determine what kind of lift kit we want, or suspension modification we want for our trucks? Either we look in the magazines, we watch on YouTube, we ask our friends, or we see somebody down the road, hey, what kind of suspension do you have on your truck, right? Typically. Or we'll go to the store, for real parts, whatever is in your area, and ask them what's good, or what would they recommend. And that's the problem. We're going to a store that is trying to sell us a suspension kit. They're not going to say that, well, they might tell you a little about what kits are good and what's not, but they are there to make money, and they're in business strictly because of you, and you know, they're going to try to sell you something, right? My bright idea was I went to an automotive repair shop that fixes all these suspension problems on trucks, lifted cars. I went to my local alignment shop because they see all the problems. They see everything that goes on. So I asked one of the local alignment shops, hey, you know, what would you guys recommend, and what have you seen the most problems with? It may vary from place to place. It may vary from whoever is doing the installation. So that's one of the things I did was I went to the alignment shop. Another one is that I went to a place that does repairs, specifically Daryl's shop at D's Automotive. He does a lot of repairs. He takes off a lot of suspensions that are not good, and he puts on ones that the customer finally decides to listen to him. Of course, he's going to make his recommendations, but no one's going to listen because we're so driven by, oh, it costs that much. Well, guess what? It just costs you twice as much to take it off and finally get the kit that he told you to get in the very beginning. So I'm going to go see Daryl now. I already took the knowledge that I got from when I went off-roading. I'm already taking the knowledge that I got from the alignment shop. Now I'm gonna get Daryl's input, and right now I'm finally gonna drop off the money and say, here, this is what kit I want. So I'm headed over to Daryl's shop now. I'll just film going into his shop, and you guys are gonna have to wait and see what kit I finally decide on. Next video, we're gonna unbox or even pick up the suspension kit in the next couple of weeks when it comes in. I guess I'll show you guys how to get to Daryl's shop. I took the Maka Kilo cutoff, headed westbound. We're gonna go straight into Barber's Point. There's so many different ways you can do it, but we're gonna go straight into Barber's Point and make a left turn once we enter there, and then a right turn at the baseball field. Okay, so I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so we're here at the intersection in Barber's Point. We're gonna make a left turn No cars, turn left. And then we're gonna make a right turn just at the baseball field. Okay, here's the right turn. Oh no, yeah, this right turn. Sorry, it's not the baseball field, it's the one before the baseball field. This right turn. I mean, you could take both turns, but this is the one I'm gonna take. And this is on the way to campgrounds for those of you who might think that this is familiar. And then we're gonna make the first left. And here we are at Daryl's shop, D's Automotive in EC Trucking's yard. All right, I don't want to be disrespectful to Daryl while I'm filming and talking to him, so I'm gonna go talk to him and I'll fill you guys in just a little bit. I come to talk story, I end up working. All right, this is what I get for sticking around and being good friends with Daryl. He ends up making you offload the 4-wheel parts truck. All right, time to go home. I'm tired. All right, I'm back home. As you guys saw, being friends with someone that owns a shop is not always a good thing. But in all sincerity, I love Daryl. I've known him for years. I shouldn't have opened my mouth and said I would have helped him. I had to unload that truck by myself. But anyway, you know, if you guys really want to know what lift kits to buy, there's so many different resources. For me, I just decided to use the people that work on these trucks and see breakages and they see problems. I just wanted their input as to what they end up fixing the most and what they like about certain kits and what they don't like about certain kits. You guys are going to be really surprised with what I decided to go with. When you finally do see it, like I said, you'll be kind of shocked, like, oh, why would you go with that? There's a logical reasoning after an extensive talk with Daryl as far as functionality, design, and overall usage that I'm going to be doing, potential breakages, potential warranty issues, all kinds of things, yeah. But you know, do your own research. You have to be your own advocate, seriously, on everything in life, and that is very, very true. You have to be your own advocate, whether it be medical needs or life in general, and be responsible for your own actions also. With that, today is May 18th. Tomorrow is Father's Day, so all you guys out there, happy Father's Day. I know there's a bunch of you guys out there. Sorry, my brain is just fried right now from work and the extra work I had to do. But happy Father's Day to all you guys out there. I will see you guys in a little bit, and the next time I see you guys, hopefully I'll be picking up that kit. Today I need to finish up the carbon fiber intake for the 4Runner, and I need a shower badly, really badly. So I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, take care guys, thanks.